Hi, my name is Julia Hawkins, and I am an IRENE Audio Preservation Engineer at the Northeast Document Conservation Center in Andover, Massachusetts. This is IRENE. IRENE is a system for preserving obsolete audio formats by imaging them, and then we extract the audio data from the image rather than playing it back with a traditional stylus or turntable. So I work a lot with old lacquer discs, wax cylinders, and honestly anything that's really busted up or worn out or broken. That's usually what we're working on here. So I was inspired to become a preservationist. I knew that I always wanted to work in a library adjacent field of some kind, and I really got a fantastic opportunity to work in my college archive. And I just love old stuff. I love organizing, and I love the opportunity to kind of be a voyeur for good. It's, really fun to kind of dig around in the lives of the people that came before us, and kind of explore how their lives were so different from ours, but also how, we're kind of repeating the same lives in strange ways. And I think that we can learn a lot from understanding those people that came before us. So that's kind of what motivates me to do this work. The coolest thing that I've ever gotten the opportunity to preserve is lacquer disc. And we were working on a collection of lacquer discs from World War II. Lacquer discs were, unlike vinyl, which is kind of like all the same material, they were this nitrocellulose lacquer that was actually the layer that was recorded on, and then that would be on top of either aluminum or glass. And during World War II, they were usually glass because aluminum had been requisitioned for the war effort. So this particular disc was actually just like broken right in half. It's a big, pizza size 16-inch disc. And it was broken right down the middle. So obviously can't play that with a turntable, And so we were working on it, and broken in half is actually not that complicated for IRENE. So we thought that it was going to be really easy. And so I'm looking at the images that have come out of the scan, because, we're actually looking at a magnified image of the grooves, and they looked wild. It was super overmodulated. So if you're thinking about audio clipping, where somebody's really, really loud and then it kind of cuts out, it was physically doing that on the actual disc. The modulation was just woo, 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 whereas normally it's just kind of like that. So these were crazy loud recordings. And I was like, what the heck could be on these things? And come to find out that the recording was it was rebroadcast from Cherbourg Harbor. The recording was from D-Day, or D-Day, the Normandy invasion, not D-Day proper. The actual date of the recording was, I believe, July 3rd, 1944. But they were from this reporter, Charles Collingwood, who was a big deal from CBS. And he was on a PT boat in Cherbourg Harbor on a ship that was commanded by John Bulkley, who was also a big deal, come to find out. And their job was essentially to clear the way for the invading U.S. forces, and to essentially go through the harbor and minesweep and pick up people from ships that had been hit by mines, because as the Germans retreated, they had just mined the crap out of Cherbourg Harbor. It was a mess. And so this recording was essentially Charles Collingwood kind of narrating over the sound of the ocean. You could hear the crash of the ocean. It was drowning him out in some places, which was why the recording was so overblown. And he's narrating ships going down in real time. He's seeing them go down. There's times where they're moving slowly to try and make sure that they don't hit a mine. And then there's sections where they're racing off because they heard that a ship was just hit and they're going to pick up people. And so it was just this insane, intense recording, like in the field on that day. And it was just incredible. And the thing that actually made it so special to me, frankly, was that one of the things that he sees is he actually sees a ship's cat from one of the ships that had been hit, just like clinging to a lifeboat that had gone down with the ship. And he narrates these sailors going to go pick up this ship's cat and like get it out of the water and rescue it. So it's this really like beautiful moment. And yeah, it's really cool and crazy. And I can't believe that I got to hear that as just like part of my job. What would you like to preserve?